Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Slope Club. It's time for another album discussion. You know how it is. We all listen to an idol's album and then we talk about it, right? As always, it's your boy, and I'm here with Tron, Josh, and RJ. What's up?
What it do?
Hello.
Hey.
How we doing?
All right, this episode, we're going to talk about Not Secured Loose Ends. Their newest album, their third album, called Paradox Soar. Not Secured Loose Ends, or Yuku e shireずつれずれ, as they are known in original Japanese. Not Secured Loose Ends is their official English name. They are a 4-member group formed in 2015. And since they've gone through a few lineup changes, I think only one original member is left in the current lineup. But yeah, they're kind of a rock idol, I guess, right? Rock, metal, I don't know, screamo, post-hardcore style. It's kind of very nuanced. Yeah, you guys heard of him before?
Nope.
No.
I've dabbled a little, but not like.
Oh, he's dabbled.
Didn't you recommend this album, Josh?
I was just looking up random idol groups. If you guys have any suggestions, by the way, please leave them down in the comments below.
Yes, leave in the comments.
I've actually heard of the Japanese name, and before this, when we were discussing on what album to listen to, I did not know them by the English name. I was like, what? Who is Not Secured Loose Ends? But then
When we were talking about it right before we decided on them, then I think we were like, oh, look up the Japanese name, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, I think we've watched a video or two of theirs on Basagasu.
this album that we listened to and are discussing is called Paradox Soar. This is their third full-length album, which was very recently released in August. 2 months ago? Yeah. It's got 16 tracks. And yeah, kind of rock, metal, screamo, post-hardcore type of deal. So very alt-idol style, I guess. Yeah, so what did you guys think of the album? Let's talk about some of these tracks.
Okay, so my favorite track is number 7, Odd Eye. That was a really good track. It was different in a good way. And typically, if you know, if you watch these episodes, I typically, prefer more of the traditional orthodox, idol sound. But, I dabble in, I enjoyed the rock sound. And this one, right off the bat, screamo parts, the vibe comes in right away, right? Within the first 5 seconds. It sounds like a mosh pit just started when you listen to the first 10 seconds. And then about 30 seconds in to do a switch up to this slow, BPM part, kind of hip hop vibe. And I was like, whoa. I did not expect that because the first 6 songs of the album, mostly what you talk about and you think about when it comes to alt idols, rock, screamo, post-hard rock. But that was really interesting and they did it very well.
I like this track too. It's one of my favorites. It's pretty solid. It has these different sections, right, that you can are pretty distinctive, right? You got the scream parts, some melodic vocal lines, and the guitars do some cool riffs too. So it's pretty well-rounded, I thought.
See, now, I kind of understand that. I like both sections, but I feel like the transition between them was a little rough.
Really?
Yeah,
I love the transition.
If it was individual, if I were to listen to just the hip-hop part versus just the rock part, I feel like I'd like the song a little bit more if it was one or the other. But then together, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it just didn't click with me, the transition part of it.
I think it was done really well. I was the only way I could describe it was when what Baby Meta song was it when they do the switch up? The song escapes me. No, it's
Ine.
Yeah. Remember when they go to the rap
Oh,
part?
word, yeah.
I'm that's the only way I could describe the same feeling when listening to that track to Ine was whoa, that switch up. All right, because it came left field. I don't know about you guys, but that came out left field, especially listening from tracks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You wouldn't expect that, and I thought it was pretty good. I personally enjoyed it as well.
My favorite track, then I'll talk about the one I liked, is Unison Ash.
Oh, yeah. I like that one.
I really like all these different parts put together, like the guitar it's all heavy and shit, just all the chugging. And then it has like that floaty kind of synth guitar line above it. Like the breakdowns are cool. It has a nice structure too. Like the song's not that long, but there's these different segments that are pretty unique and distinct. At least as far as the guitars go, like just like the kind of breakdowns and the riffs and stuff. It's kind of like half spoken, right? Like the lyrics and stuff. But yeah, it's cool. It has like this cool like heaviness to it that I really like.
It sounds like it would be like part of a rhythm game or something like that. I feel like it'd be a good song that would be great in a rhythm game. Like 2DX is the first one that came to mind, or Beatmania, if you guys may know as Beatmania as well.
Yeah, even just that intro sounds like it'd be fun to play.
It's cool. I just really like that the guitar, like the rhythm parts, and like the synth stuff. It feels like you just like in Guitar Hero.
I like the ending because like the piano kind of like really starts going in, and then the scene goes with the piano and everything, and then like the guitar comes in and it helps finishes it off strong. I really like the ending for the song.
How about you, Josh?
Oh, my favorites.
Too many or not enough?
Existence Metaphysical.
That one's completely different. I like it though.
Oh yeah, that one was interesting because it's towards the end of the album, right?
It's totally like a different vibe from everything that we've heard in the past. Yeah.
Like if you ever guys go to like a diner or you do like a taste course, like a 15, 16, 12 meal taste course, kind of like this album was like 16 songs, kind of on the longer side, right? This is like the perfect like palate cleanser to like the dessert. That's how I think of it because it's completely different. I dug it a lot because like in the beginning of the song, it kind of had like house vibes to it, like it's like, very like house, like not like EDM house, but just like old school like 80s, like early 90s, like house,
like straight up electronic music, right?
Yeah. So I really dug that, and something that was definitely not you would see in any of the songs previous to it. So I really enjoyed that. But why did you like it so much, Josh?
I like the little like slower moments in the song. Actually, it's like little like vibe sessions. That's what I wrote down, because like compared to everything else in the song, it's just like that feeling is completely different and it's brand new, and it just hits you. And then like after that, it kind of goes back to the chaos with like a whole bunch of like instruments, a whole bunch of like vocals everywhere. But then it goes back into like that energy again. And I thought with this song, I originally thought I'd be like the only one to like it, and not everyone would like it, but everyone here seems to like it. So
no, I really like it.
Dude, I fuck with electronic music.
Yeah, so do I. No, this is a great song.
No, like I really like the ambiance and the atmosphere. It feels very like cyberpunkish, kind of like this kind of dystopian kind of vibe to it.
I kind of going back to my metaphor of like just kind of being a great song towards the end, like a palate cleanser. Like this would be a great song to have at the like towards the end of the set list if we saw them live, right? And like you just like are tired, you've been jumping around, you've been moshing, and they pump this song out towards like the end of the set, and you just close your eyes, you're just sweaty, you're just like taking in the atmosphere and like letting the song play and just breathing in everything. I think that's the vibes I get. Yeah, you're just like, oh yeah, like just it kind of like when like, because I think of it like going back to like you call it like vibe sessions, like EDM sessions or like house sessions, where like you're towards the end of the set list and you're just tired, you're sweaty, you're like elbowing people around, and they pump this song in to kind of let you kind of take a deep breath and just kind of like get your senses back, and your head's in the air, just getting some breath, and you're just like, oh yeah.
If you've ever been to one of those concerts, you know you need that breath.
No, this is definitely a great song towards the end. It's like I think it's like my second or third favorite song.
Yeah, I really like Existence Metaphysical. It's like it's at the end of the album, so it's more like a dessert kind of thing. Because yeah, exactly. It's a pretty tasty little morsel right there at the end. Yeah, the electronica shit is really good.
Would you say that's your favorite song?
No, I wouldn't say it's my favorite. It's up there though. My favorite is actually probably in the beginning of the album. I actually really like the opener. I like Wish Slash.
Yeah, I don't know why that's there.
Wish is interesting because, like I said, I had no idea what the album, like what I was getting into when I started listening to the album, and then I play Wish, and then like Screamo just started going off in the middle of the song. I'm like, oh, okay, it's one of these groups. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. I think I like it because like it sets you up for what their sound is supposed to be, right? It's Wish and the next song, Sixth. They like those two songs kind of like set up the album for like what it's supposed to be, right?
It's definitely a good introduction.
Yeah, it has like a really good, it has the good rock edge to it, and like what you expect from like all idols, right? And then like Tron says, it comes in with the vocals like you would expect from like a screamo band, which I really dig. And I always think whenever we see all idol groups and there's a girl in there that does that, it always gets me. I was like, oh fuck yeah, dude, she does the growls and shit.
Yeah, there's not many.
Exactly, and I think that's probably why I remember this group name, because we've probably watched a video and they did those and we were like, oh shit, dude, they do the vocals. So yeah, I would say yeah, Wish and Sixth kind of together really set up the album for me, and like and yeah, I like the way the direction it goes in.
With Wish, like at the beginning when it just hits though, like I'm just like it sets the tone, like RJ said. It's like a hype beginning with the guitar riffs and like the solo. I'm just like, oh shit, let's go. I'm ready. I'm here. I'm ready for the 16 song album.
It's surprising to me that Tron's into this as much as he is.
No, yeah, I mean, like I forget what album that we covered. Maybe it was Bish, or maybe it was another like alt idol group. But like I grew up listening to like hard rock screamo stuff when I was in high school.
Besides like baby metal, I don't really recall you ever like really talking about rock music or anything. So it's
yeah, you know, because
cool.
I don't seek it out. I don't seek it out when it comes to my idols. I think I mentioned it before. Like when I come to my idols, I know exactly what I look for. But when a group can infuse a genre like rock or screamo or EDM or anything that's outside of like what you say like your traditional orthodox idols music genre, if it can do it well, you know, I'll fuck with it. Like I'll definitely like vibe and enjoy it. And like I was pleasantly surprised how well throughout the album that these girls were able to kind of portray that. I think like the first 4 songs, maybe 5 songs, maybe 4 songs that were all just had screamo parts, right? Like those like the whoever the girls belting those out, I'm like they did it very well. It wasn't just like sometimes you listen to some songs that are like in the screamo genre that just like very like they're very abrasive and they just like hit you and are very upfront with it. But this was the way they introduced some of those parts was very enjoyable, I guess I could say.
Yeah, I think that's thanks to something that I like about the song, where it's like the softer, higher notes versus that kind of screamo voicing that I think complements each other well. Kind of shows you it's like idol plus rock, so it's kind of like the all idol.
If you can do it well, I'll always be a fan of it. So yeah, and then like really quick on Sixth, like I got like some really cool like 1OK Rock vibes from them, like that song specifically, just like the instrumentals and like the guitar riffs
when they were like good, when they were a good band.
Yeah, like the older 1OK Rock. Yeah, I haven't listened to their stuff recently, but like the older stuff.
You don't need to. It's not
okay. Save my time. Good to know. Yeah, but the older stuff, you know. So, and I think I got at least in the instrumental parts, I definitely got that vibe from Sixth.
Wish and Sixth has the same vibe, right? They can almost be like one song, like both of them. There's a few instances where I thought that happens in this album, like Memento and Grotesque Promise, and I Really Hate Me. Right, those two sound pretty familiar. It's like the same structurally and like, you know, even the length. It's kind of, it leans more towards like kind of the like J rock style, I guess you could say, right? And like I feel like those 2 tracks could just be one.
I don't know if I go that far.
The differences are a little bit more nuanced, I guess, you know. So
yeah, it does have a similar feel, but I feel like the first one is a little bit more breezy feeling, while the second one I feel like personally I like Memento more than I like Grotesque Promise, and
yeah,
I
think
really
I
hate
agree.
Me.
Yeah, I like Memento more too.
I like Grotesque more.
Oh, interesting.
Because it has more like any song like vibes to it.
Yeah, that's what that's what I thought for both of them. So that's why I thought they could just be like.
Yeah, no, to Boy's point, I can see when he says that they could be like one song. You may not like agree with that, Josh. Maybe you can't see it, but I can see it. But between both the songs, I prefer Grotesque more because it kind of rides the line of more of an anti-song vibe, which is I love that kind of stuff.
It's like opening 1 and then opening 2 over here.
Yeah, no, you can do that.
I feel like
it's a great
Grotesque has that feel because of those little like piano parts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably the most pop sounding song on the album, in my opinion. Grotesque Promise, and I love me some good pop.
Though in the Grotesque Promise, I do like the third quarter or the second third, where it sounds a little bit different than the rest of it did, and kind of help transition to the next song. And the piano that plays during that section, I really enjoyed that.
Mhm.
One problem that I had with Grotesque is that I feel like the chorus wasn't enough payoff for me. Like from the pre-chorus coming up. But the final chorus, I thought that one was the payoff that I was waiting for the whole song.
Coming off that piano part, right?
Yeah.
I think I'd say like also one more point, like when Boy mentioned like J rock sounding, I think like Dear Sorrow was probably very more orthodox J rock sound in my opinion. Since you brought up like the J rock sound compared to like some of the screamo heavy post hardcore sound that's in the beginning of the album. So love to hear your thoughts about Dear Sorrow because I really enjoyed that song.
I can hear that too.
More vanilla, I guess, compared to like the album first half in terms of just being more J rock sounding, but I enjoyed it. They did it pretty well.
Well, it's that crazy that walking guitar riff. It's yeah.
I think the vocal arrangements also kind of had like Vocaloid vibes to it.
Yeah. I noticed that too. There was like
I noticed that towards the second half of the
album.
album. I didn't circle back on the first half, but I definitely got the vibe in the second half of the album.
Up to this point, right? If you're listening to this in order, right? This is kind of your first taste of that, like when they introduce like a little bit different elements compared to the previous tracks, right? So like it helps like lighten up the song, kind of as that like floaty vibe to it too. So
one I'd like to bring up is it's the third track. It's what is it? REDERA.
Oh, REDERA.
oh yeah,
Such a catchy beginning, dude.
Only Boy will probably get this reference, but it sounds like a Mook song.
Oh, dude, yeah, like the folky sound.
Yeah, dude, right? Doesn't it? It totally sounds like I'm listening to it. I'm like, oh, listen to this Mook vibe right here, dude. The fucking yeah, it's just I like it a lot actually.
There's that like ska upstroke guitar rhythm thing going on too.
Yeah, I wrote down my notes. Like it has like some groovy like beach
So it's
vibes.
got that little not country, but yeah, like you said, little folky riff. That it's got that twang to it too. It's and then even like the vocal melody and stuff. I don't know, everything about it just really reminded me of a Mook song.
I can hear that.
The first half of this album, just overall, my impression was very, very positive. I think like REDERA was really good.
Yeah, it also just like blasts through these songs. You know, these songs are like compact.
Like this song, and then like really quick on illCocytus. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, that too.
That's another like punk, high energy. So, I mean, they kept the high energy within the first half of this album. They didn't let go of the pedal.
It's more of that hardcore vibe too. It sounds like Unhinged and stuff, where they just like scream at parts.
Yeah, to me, this sounded a little bit more like a true Underground Idol song.
This is what I was expecting coming into the album.
Was there a moment in the song where like they're screaming and it hurt your ears a little? Like the mixing was
this
a
song
little off
or
in this song?
the
In
album?
this song.
Okay, because there's a song in this album that I definitely got that.
Then I feel like it was in this song especially. There was like one moment where like I literally had to be like almost take off my earphones. Like that was a little too much.
Yeah, it's a little crazy, this one. It also has like these cool transitional parts where it's like do 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 do. I thought it was pretty cool.
Most underwhelming song? There's two, but the one that I think kind of stuck out the most to me was Mezzo Forte, and specifically I think whoever they decided to sing the chorus probably should have picked someone else, because I'm not sure if you guys got this. It's out of their range.
They're having a hard time with it. Yeah,
they're definitely struggling on the struggle bus when whoever gets the chorus, which is really interesting because like the beginning of the song, the chorus, like, whoever's singing the first couple verses was really nice. But then like once the chorus comes in, whoever's belting those out definitely are on the struggle bus. What do you guys think of Mezzo Forte?
As far as the instrumentation goes, it's one of the more kind of unique arrangements.
Yeah, I actually really like the instrumentation because, you know me, I like practical instrument. Well, I mean, the whole album's practical, but I like piano and strings and stuff like that. So I actually really like it. But yeah, the vocals on the chorus, like Tron saying, it's rough.
Yeah, there's a little like I think it's when she's going to the high notes. I think that's when you could kind of hear it the most.
That's why I thought when you mentioned Josh, like the screeching, like the high pitch. I thought you were talking about this song because that's like I instantly gravitated towards this song.
No, I'm talking about EQ. I'm not talking about like singing ability.
Oh, okay. Now I misheard you, but yeah, this song and then the one before that, Arrhythmia.
Oh, really?
Arrhythmia. This one was more so like it didn't. I think it could have been a fatigue thing because it's a 16 song.
No, see, I took a break like
this one,
like 2 songs before this.
Oh, I see. I usually go from beginning to end because I want to keep my thoughts and kind of keep everything all like big picture from like beginning to end. So I don't usually take breaks in between albums when I review these. I think it could have been just the fatigue of it, but also it just didn't hit me as much in terms of like I feel like I've heard this already and just isn't as well done as like some of the previous songs on the album. That's how I feel.
I can see what you mean about Arrhythmia, especially like at this point if you're listening to it in one sitting. Arrhythmia to me is more of like an atmosphere thing. It's kind of like this big wall of noise, shoegaze type thing where it's just like, ugh.
It's crazy drums, chugging guitar, right? And they even kind of drown out the vocals and everything.
Yeah, it's very.
Which I think we're kind of saying is usually one of their stronger points.
The whole sound just washing over, just like.
I can see like being at a show and this one coming on, and yeah, you're just like, oh yeah.
That exact feeling is how I feel about Existence Metaphysical. That feeling of it washing over you.
I think I enjoyed it because from the last one that was from before this, that was more to me. That one kind of like was the tail end of like the whole anime opening ones that we said.
Still roaring that one.
And then going to this one, it's kind of back to the sound that we started with.
Yeah, it is definitely.
I can agree that the instruments kind of can overwhelm the actual vocals, but I think that compared to some of the other songs that were on here, it sounds like a little bit more care was done when like arranging the song.
I kind of like Still Roaring, especially the second half when it gets like really symphonic. I wish it like kind of carried over. Like, I wish it was more of the track that was like that. But like towards the end, it gets like pretty good.
Adjective, because I couldn't put an adjective to the song. Because I wanted to say powerful, but it wasn't powerful. Like it just like when like the vibe and the instrumentals like felt like very like impactful, but I couldn't find the right adjective to describe like how it felt. Like it just felt like something like very like it'd be like a song that you'd hear during like a battle in a shonen anime or something, or like a Demon Slayer movie. I felt I couldn't put a finger on it though. Like what would describe it?
A huge battle moment, right? So it's like they even like it's not even like a score, and they just throw in like a pop song, and you're like, oh shit. Big shit's going down right here, dude. Or maybe in the movie. It's part of the movie, not part of the series.
But it's usually when something big happens. So like epic.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, epic.
I can see what that's actually a good way to put it.
I guess epic is the best way of going.
I do really like the intro though, like Josh had mentioned with the piano on Still Roaring. I actually really like the piano intro.
Halfway through the song, there's this section where instead of one person singing, it's the whole group singing, and I really like that part. I feel like it's just a change up that I needed, and I kind of wish the song had a little bit more of that.
Right. Like it's like the ideas were there. I just wish it was like bigger, you know, like the orchestration is like kind of. But yeah, it's still not bad though.
So any kind of underwhelming songs, or I guess you'd say the weakest song on the album?
All the songs kind of hit on a decent level to me. Like I don't even
not underwhelming. Okay.
Yeah, it's hard to find. Like, obviously, I mean, there's going to be one song that I like less than all the others, but it's hard for me even really to pick it out because they all are on a pretty decent level.
Yeah, even like the lower tempo ones, like Howling Hollow, right? It's a lower tempo song. It doesn't have like all the energy that it had, the album had in the beginning, but it's still. But
yeah, there's still like there'll still be like and there'll still be like really decent parts in where I'm like, oh man, I actually really like this part of this song or this key moment in this song, and then like even if it has like a negative to it, it doesn't like bring it down enough for me to be like, yeah, I don't really like this song.
I think that song in particular just showcases the girls' vocals well. Like I think it just lends the girls' vocals really well and kind of like just shows up. Yeah, so I think that one just kind of stuck out for me. Howling.
It's a very like post-hardcore sound to me. I don't know if that's right.
I got like rock ballad like posts. Yeah, it was more really, like more low tempo.
There's some similarities with the rest of the songs though, especially near the beginning.
So there's still that tie-in. And
I could see people getting tired of the sound if like they come back to this and like, oh, this sound again. But I feel like if you like the sound, then like you're all in for it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if you're a fan of this style, I think you like really like this album. And there's a VERITAS.
Oh yeah, the screamo breakdown was super catchy.
Oh right, I started wanting to headbang with it.
I know what was. I can't think of the instrument, but it wasn't an organ. It was like some like it It's like a piano thing, but it wasn't an organ. But like whatever they used for that piano part, the key part, it was really really catchy. But I love that screamo breakdown. I think that was one of the better screamo moments in this album.
It gets like heavy, like ugh.
I kind of wanted more of that.
I wanted more. Like you're gonna bring it, dude.
Yeah, I actually really like the last half of the song where it just gets super heavy and like I can just picture. I'm really hoping. I think Boy mentioned earlier, before when we were picking them out and stuff, that they perform with a live band, which makes me really want to see them and shit because I want to see this band like just fucking rock the fuck out. Because especially like, during a section like this, I can just see the band just like I can just
any idol group in this kind of style. They just need that band.
You can't have this like on a DAT track. It doesn't work.
Yeah. Then there's the last track, Hue, which I thought was pretty cool.
It's not bad.
Alternative indie rock style, right? Got the acoustic guitar.
Very bright and warm is what I wrote down. Very like warm.
Yeah, it gave me a singer-songwriter song kind of vibe, you know?
That kind of mixed with like kind of more of a J-pop sound into it.
Yeah. So it's a lighter end to the album.
And I mean, if you give this song to someone, they'd be like, oh, look, this is this group. And they're like, oh, okay, so they sound like this. And then they listen to any other song, they're going to be
Total swerve. Like, wait, what?
Uh-huh.
I do like that the last few tracks are a little different.
I feel like it's a little reward. It's like if you made it through all these like rock sound, if you like let's say you're not totally into it, but you want to listen to it for, I don't know, for like an album review or want to follow along, and then you get to these three, then it's kind of like a little reward if you think of it that way.
Because I think like, and I don't want to misspeak for any of fans who may be listening to this album, but I feel like the first half of the track is maybe like their signature sound, or this is what they're known for. Like I said, I haven't listened to anything before this album, so I don't want to misspeak about it. But how I see it is that like you listen to the first half, this is who we are. Second half is where we experiment and try to do different things and, you know, kind of think out of the box in terms of what we're kind of pigeonholed at.
Yeah, from the first half of the album to the second.
I think that's kind of, and they do it very well. I think their experimental stuff, if you want to call it experimental, maybe it's their sound, who knows? But I think they do it very well, regardless.
I don't know. The first half had like the ska little thing, the hip hop thing in there.
Oh, they're so good though. I can't believe you don't like that, Josh. That switch up was so good.
I think I said the same thing for ENF for Vegan Metal Wire. I was a little iffy on it.
No, you did say that, so you're consistent at least. I remember you making that mention. You made that point about
himself.
You did not contradict yourself. I remember you making that point when we covered that album that you didn't like that switch up. So at least you're consistent.
So maybe it's just that switch up that I don't like. Just the hip hop to rock, maybe.
Not a fan of new metal.
Poor Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, I think we've gone through all the tracks. Let's give our last thoughts, final ratings for Paradox Soar.
All right, so Tron earlier, he was asking me, you know, like what the weakest song might be, and you know, I mentioned I think they all kind of hit at a decent level, which is true. I it's hard for me to find a song I dislike on the album. I can't say that like I love the album or anything, you know. It's strong, and I do like this sound. Like I do listen to this kind of music, and always have growing up and everything. But I don't know if it's just where I'm at this week. I've had a bad week. I've been in a bad headspace. I don't know if it's just kind of things just kind of filtering past while I'm trying to listen to it. But when I would try to focus on it, even I would be like, oh yeah, I like this, but nothing like really like grabbed me or stood out to me. Like Josh would usually say, nothing's getting put on like my rotation or anything. I can't say anything I'm going to put in my rotation. So I want to give it, I usually don't do, you know, half scores. I want to give it like a 7.5. I don't really give half scores. I don't know if we round up or round. We usually round up on a final score, but personal score, I don't know. I don't feel like it's an 8, so I'm gonna go down to a 7. I do like it. I actually enjoy this album. I enjoyed listening to it. I listened to it quite a few times this week in preparation for this. But for some reason, nothing really sticks with me past listening to the album, if that makes sense. Like, I listen to the album, I'm like, oh yeah, I like this. I listen to the whole album. But at the end of the album, I'm not like, oh, man, I need to go back and listen to this song again. Or, man, I need to jump on and throw this track onto, like, my preferred playlist or anything. But if someone were to bring this album up to me, I would be like, oh, dude, that's a good album. You should listen to that. Or, yeah, I think if you like such and such sound, I think you'll like this album. So, I don't know, it's a weird space. It's a weird place for me to be in. I'm usually pretty decisive with my scores, right? But for some reason, I went back and forth on this. Like when I was thinking about it, it's hard for me. It's hard for me to give it an 8, but I feel like I'm shorting it if I give it a 7, which makes me want to give it a 7.5. But ultimately, I'm going to give it the 7. And there it is, 7 for what is it? Loose ends.
Not secured.
Not secure. I always forget the first part. Not secured, loose ends. I mean, yeah. I'm sorry, girls. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna keep them as a group in my thoughts. Like they have earned my follow on Spotify, and I will continue to try to enjoy. I enjoyed the music, but for some reason I don't know. It just something just didn't stick with me as much as I wanted it to.
But hey, 7 isn't that bad. 7 isn't that bad.
It's good. It's a good score.
In fact, I don't think I really had anything negative to say about it besides that one part in the chorus that me and Tron were talking about.
So I am gonna give this album a 8 out of 10. I was pleasantly surprised how much I actually enjoyed the album. If you guys know, I listening to me do these episodes and these album reviews, you probably wouldn't think this would be my cup of tea. But I can always appreciate good music when I hear it. Definitely when a genre that I used to listen to back in the day in high school. My friend was part of a screamo rock band. I used to see him live at these bars underage in high school. So I definitely grew up on it, and I definitely got those vibes. Definitely was not expecting this type of music from the group. I guess I'm still kind of learning and kind of navigating myself through the alt idol world when it comes to just these kind of groups, and was pleasantly surprised how much this album did. And like I said, the first half of the album, some great high energy post hard metal screamo sounds, and I think the experimental stuff that they have towards the end of the album was great as well. Some songs definitely kind of were a little lackluster and didn't hit as much towards the end. That could have been because of fatigue. It could have been just because me not really being in the right head space. But overall, I would definitely recommend this album to anyone who's into. I may introduce this album to one of my friends who is into these sorts of genres, but not into idols. I think I can maybe build a bridge there and get him started to listen to idols, maybe with this group. So 8 out of 10, solid album.
I will give this album a 7. It's a pretty solid rock sound. I really like the heavier instrumentation with like the melodic vocal lines. I guess that's like a staple of this genre, right? Or this kind of style, which I haven't really been into that much. But yeah, I really like some of the guitar riffs, especially like the chugging. Get some really heavy sections. I like that towards the end. It gets a little bit more adventurous with the instrumentation. They even have an electronic song in there that has it has no business being there, but they did one anyway. So, well, I kind of wish that they got they did that stuff a little earlier in the album. Some tracks are a little too similar to me though. I felt like they could just be like those two tracks could just be one track that is like more impactful or whatever, and eventually making the album a little bit more compact. I mean, it is even though some of the tracks are pretty short, it's still 16 tracks, so there's a lot to go through. But yeah, they all hit pretty decent. I don't think I had anything bad to say about this either. Like, there's something in each track that I picked out that I liked at least. So yeah, give it a 7.
Well, I have to give it a solid 8 out of 10. Now the reason for this is because I do like the sound, like this type of rock sound, this underground. You could tell there's some elements still of undergroundness of it. And I think this score would have been higher, maybe if they have more budget to them. I feel like they could really fine-tune it and really help excel the sound that they already have, and it could probably go higher in score. But in this case, it has to be an 8. There's a lot of good songs in here. Again, nothing really bad to say, which I think is a good thing. Shows a good, solid pre-production, production, and even post. There's some post stuff in there, though, that caught me a little bit. like I didn't want to like mention it like during every single song because I feel like I'd be nitpicking, but there's like little transitions or little EQ moments that I noticed. But overall, I think it's okay, and that's why I mentioned it would be higher if they had a better budget or something like that. Because from the sound we already have, I think it's a nice solid base, and I just can't wait to see what the future holds for them. So yeah, 8 out of 10.
All right.
All right, and together that is 7.5 out of 10. But since we round up, it is a 8 out of 10.
Good job, girls.
Yeah. Not secured loose ends or
Secure an 8.
Very good album.
So if you enjoyed Paradox Soar, go ahead and tell us your reasons why down below. Or if you didn't like it, tell us that too down below. Go ahead and like the video if you liked it, and subscribe to keep up to date with future album discussions. But that's all for us this time. We'll catch you in the next video. Goodbye.